Hi, I'm Gina Glusha. I work for a parent company that owns a few different trade associations, and we have some conferences coming back up, and that's a really great way for us to win back some lapsed members. So I'm looking at a particular membership where their membership gets a lot of their benefit from the conference we have coming up in September. So that was the one I was going to work on. And I was just kind of here for ideas, not planning to like really build anything solid quite yet.
Okay. Yeah. So the good thing with Prop Fuel is you can start to build and then just decide you want to, trash the campaign completely. But it's this next hour and a half would be a good time for you to kind of just get a feel for how the system works, if nothing else. We're gonna build what's called a blueprint today. I think Dave talked about it a little bit, but instead of building from scratch, you're going to build from a blueprint. So it's a campaign that we have built for you. It pulls in AI content specific to your organization. Gina, we do have a blueprint that's call for abstracts. So if you have non-members who would be interested in an abstract, that's one of the blueprints you could run as a client. We're all going to run the same lapsed one today, but keep in mind that what you see today is not the only option when it comes to events and winning back members. That's a big one.
Okay, cool.
Awesome. And Josh?
Hi, my name is Josh Beulah. I'm the Director of IT for the Florida Music Education Association.
Awesome.
So all of our members are music teachers. That's why I said like 99% in that thing.
Yeah.
To his question was because our membership year follows the school year, so everybody is expired like on June 30th unless they renew early, and they're all on summer break right now because they're all music teachers. So we usually push our membership renewal campaigns in August, like mid to late August, when they're like in just going back to school or in teacher planning, getting ready for next school year and so forth like that. So it still is a little bit early in the year for us to actually do our membership renewal campaigns.
Okay, perfect. Well, good news is you can build it now and then, disseminate it across your staff, get people to buy into it, and then you can always send it out when the time comes. So yeah, where are you based, Josh?
Tallahassee, Florida.
Okay, I was just in Fort Lauderdale, got back yesterday. So, and my mother-in-law is a teacher. My sister-in-law is a teacher. So when you said FMEA, I was like, yep, know it. So.
Awesome.
Well, it's good to meet you, all of you. Like I said, today we're going to be building the campaign. I'm going to walk you through everything that you need to do to get it built. Again, because we have those blueprints, it makes it really easy to build the campaigns. Essentially, the platform is building them for you based on the best practices that we've seen over more than 240 clients. Of course, every association is unique. And so that's why once the campaign is run, you'll want to edit it. But the nice thing is it turns you into an editor instead of a builder. So you're not spending hours and hours building. The strategy is brought in for you and you can just kind of tweak it. So I'm going to walk you through that today. Quick question. I think everyone pretty much said it, but is there anyone then that will plan to send their campaign by the end of this meeting? Okay. All right, perfect. Then I am not going to focus on that part because that'll come later. So before we jump right in, I'm going to share my screen. I want to just let you see what we're actually building today before you start to build it. It's always nice to visualize it. So generally with Prop Fuel campaigns, we suggest sending out, especially with a lapsed campaign, we suggest sending out about 4 different check-ins in the campaign. Of course, at any time, if somebody says no, or if they actually take the action of rejoining or renewing, then we're going to pull them out of the campaign. So it's not like we're just blasting them over and over again. But the nice thing is each one of these is kind of like a different conversation and it gives them an opportunity to rejoin. So usually, like I said, 4 check-ins. With this one, we're just going to focus on 1 check-in because it's a really great way for you to, send it out and see how it does without having to remove people in between. So this is what is going to run. We have up here what we like to call just the intro text. So it's a little text before the question that gives them context about why you're emailing them. I'd hate to go out to people and just immediately get into the question, like, do you want to rejoin? Because then it feels like you're kind of pulling out your megaphone. So this will bring in this content here for you. And then the question, are you interested in rejoining? Yes, possibly, and not at this time. It will bring in a signature line. So we always say have it be from an individual if you can, because it's nice when an individual is talking to an individual, your members are an individual. So person to person is always best. If you can't do that, that's totally fine. You could have it be from maybe the membership department or from the organization's name. I'll walk you through how you can set up that signature to in the inputs to make it make sense. If they said, yes, I'm interested in rejoining, then this is the page that the blueprint is going to generate for you. So all of this will be in the page, but the inputs you put in will dictate what this links to here, what, contact us email address and contact us phone number is brought in. And then this is what's generated by AI. So that's definitely where you'll want to make it human, edit it, make sure the tone works, and make sure that it makes sense. But generally, it does a pretty good job of pulling in stuff specific to your organization. But I also love that in the actual campaign, the idea is if somebody says, yes, I want to rejoin, we're immediately sending them to where they can do that. Whereas if they said possibly, we're talking to them a little bit differently. So again, it pulls in all of this information for you, but I love that we're saying, yeah, we totally understand it's important to see value with your membership. Here's some ways that it will support your career growth. So it's bringing in ways that it's providing value to them. I've had some clients also that like to add in maybe a monetary value for some of this stuff. So if you have that, it's a great place to put that in. And then of course, the rejoin link. And then not at this time. So this is actually one of my favorite ones because I think it's such a good example of how conversational engagement works really well in these campaigns. So generally, if somebody is not interested in rejoining, don't be scared of giving them the no option because it just opens the door for a conversation. So I love here that we're saying, thanks for letting us know, but perhaps there's something we can do. And so we're kind of, again, opening that door to them telling us exactly why they're not interested. I wasn't seeing value. I don't have time. And the idea with each of these is they can answer it and we're giving them an automatic solution or a quick solution. So again, talking about the value that they're going to receive with their membership. But if somebody says maybe, I'm retiring, then you can talk to them about if you have a retired membership, that's a great one. If there's volunteer opportunities that they can get involved in, just continuing to keep them in the organization. So providing an immediate solution. So that's it. That's what we're going to be building today. Any questions or things you want me to go back to on this campaign that you saw? No, none at all?
Very straightforward.
Perfect. All right. So with that, I am sorry, I have Zoom boxes where they shouldn't be. Let's move some stuff. Okay. So go ahead and log into your account. You should have received an invitation from support@propfuel.com. Let me know if you didn't get it. It may be in your junk folder. But if you are already logged in, go ahead and navigate to this campaigns tab here on the left.
Sorry, I don't know if I got that email.
Yeah, no problem. So did you check your junk folder by any chance, Jason?
I don't know when it was sent, so
Let's see.
or who it came from. Whether it come from PropFuel or
it'll be from support@propfuel.com.
just try looking that up. Okay, here it is. No, I don't have any link here. Nope.
Mine came from Robson. It said your
Wait.
prop field invite has arrived.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
July
try that.
8th.
He must have changed it to his name.
What's up? What can I do?
Hey, Robson. It looks like Jason does not have his invite to Prop Fuel. Did it come from you or support at Prop Fuel?
It should have come from me, from Jason Ipcore, right?
Huh?
Or yeah. Let me see if I can send you another one.
Sure.
Everyone else has theirs? Okay, perfect. All right, so Jason, while you're doing that, I'm going to ask everyone else to go ahead and navigate to the campaigns tab on the left side of your screen. And then you're going to click Create New Campaign. And feel free, take a look at all of the blueprints we have. Gina, this was what I was talking about for you all, especially. You have a lot of events where that's why people join. So take a look and see some of the things that we have. The one we're going to be working on today is the win back all the way down on the bottom. And it's going to be the very last one on that list.
I'm clicking create new campaign and I'm not getting anything.
It's not going anywhere. Okay,
No.
let's see. Are you comfortable sharing your screen real quick?
Absolutely.
Okay, perfect. I'm going to stop sharing.
Let's see where record, whiteboard, where share screen. Sorry.
Yeah, if
There it
you're a
is.
team
Sorry.
user.
So I'm clicking on, it's just,
It's not doing anything interesting.
did we have to have our list uploaded?
No, nothing should need to be uploaded. Robson, do you mind putting that into the support for Cameron?
What? I'm sorry.
So
Oh wait, now I'm there.
oh, now it's working. Okay.
Yeah, I clicked around a little bit, went back to campaigns, and now it's working.
Interesting.
Technology.
I know. And it's always when you're live.
Right.
Perfect. All right. So I'm going to reshare my screen and then we'll jump into it. Jason, were you able to get in?
I haven't received it yet.
Okay.
Still nothing. Let me shoot a message over to Cam.
Okay. Yeah, it may
You
be.
just make sure you're sending to the right email.
Yeah,
Your servers may be blocking it, so that could definitely be what's going on there.
It's possible. I'll just follow along on the screen. It's fine.
Okay, and then as soon as you're in, let me know. I'll rewind for you. There's going to be a lot of downtime where folks are editing. So what we're going to do is we're going to, once you've clicked create new campaign, so there's two ways to build campaigns in PropFuel. One is creating from scratch over here on the right side. If at all possible, don't do that because there's no use in recreating the wheel. Like you can see here, we have all of these blueprints on the left that you'd be able to choose from. The one we're going to do today, like I said, is going to be under the win back tab, and it's this very last one on the bottom. So you're going to choose that. Once you choose that, you're going to just read a little bit about what the campaign is up at the top. You've already gone through it with me, so you should already have that all set, and then you can put in your inputs. So every input you see here will be seen by your contacts that you're sending this out to, except for the campaign name. So I would suggest maybe titling that like lapsed win back and maybe the month and year. And then everything else is seen by the contacts. Again, so with the sender's name, so that's a friendly from name. So I usually like to have that be a person's first and last name, maybe comma, and then your association. If that's just not your association style, then you can of course have it be from the association name.
And no.
Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to close this. And then Jason, when you if you click on campaigns on the left, you'll see this create new campaign button.
Let's see. Campaigns. Create new campaign.
Perfect. And then on the left, you're going to see a win back tab all the way down at the bottom.
Yep.
And then it's going to be the last one on that list that you'll click, the lapsed win back workshop blueprint.
Okay.
And then, like I said, you'll just put in all of your inputs. So the inputs that you put here are things that are actually going to generate in the campaign. So like the sender's name and job title will generate as the signature line. So just keep that in mind as you're going through them. And it will make you put in an input for everything. And I don't want to go too fast for anyone. So when you're done with your inputs, just give me a thumbs up for anyone on the call. And then when everyone's done, we'll run it. Awesome. Thanks, Gina. Thanks, Josh. Jen, I need to know how you're able to do that. That's so cool.
If you
There's
go,
a heart at the bottom and you can, if you click it, it gives send with effect. Sorry. It was the first thumbs up
Oh,
that
cool.
I found.
here's another cool one.
Oh, I love it. Is that your version of thumbs up, Jason?
No, I just know you guys have your rocket as your logo.
Oh,
so
okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Too much to
So,
play with.
go ahead and click run when you're ready. And then Jason, feel free, take your time putting the inputs in and then go ahead and click run when you're ready as well.
I'm almost there.
Perfect.
You said to hit run after we put everything in.
Yep, go ahead. And then just let me know when it's run. Since I can't see your screens, I don't want to go too fast or too slow. So. Awesome. All right, so once your campaign runs, you should be put on a page just like this. If you got the little pop-up like warning, it looks like almost like a warning. It's just telling you that there's AI content in here. And all we mean by that is it still is AI, so make it human throughout the campaign. We don't want you to just run a blueprint and then send it out. So that's all that is. You can just close that. And then we're going to take this in 3 steps to edit this campaign. So really every prop fuel check-in is broken up into 3 steps. The first is reviewing your question and your answer choices. That's going to be when we're ready. That's going to be the little pencil. It's going to pop up the question and the answers, and it's completely editable. This is based on best practices, so I wouldn't change it too much if you can, because then that would affect all of your workflows and kind of the whole journey, but definitely change it for tone and things like that. The second part is going to be the workflows. So that's this little arrow that points to the right. You're going to pop that open, and you'll notice that there's 3 answer choices and then 3 workflows down below. So it's essentially just telling the system when people answer this way, take all of these different actions. So if they say yes, we're showing text on a PropFuel landing page and sending a follow-up email to them. Anytime we're asking somebody to do something that takes some time, we like to send a follow-up email to say, you know, something like, hey, here's that link to renew your membership in case you still need it. Because a lot of people will get to the landing page and they're like, I'll do it later. So let's put it in their inbox so they can do it later if they need to. Possibly. So if they say possibly, we're saying something completely different to them. This is where you're going to edit all of that content. And then the no's. So if they say no, not at this time, this is where it gets a little bit more advanced, but it's still pretty easy to follow. That's where we're redirecting them to another question where we ask, okay, well, why are you hesitating to renew? We never just want to say, okay, bye. We always want to get that insight into why and hopefully win them back. So that's that second part. We'll go in depth into that as well. And then the very last thing we're going to do is edit our templates. And that's the gear here at the top right, and then templates. And you'll see here we have what's called the email template. We're going to edit that. And that's everything that goes into that initial email that they get with the question. So we don't need to edit anything here. This is where our question and our answers are automatically going to display, but everything else is up for grabs in terms of editing. So definitely make it your own, like I said. The subject line, you'll see this little wand here. Anywhere you see a wand in PropFuel, you can generate an AI suggestion. So that's kind of fun. You can just keep generating until you find one that you like. And then that's it. Then we will be done. So I want to start with editing the question and the answer choices. So again, like I said, we're going to click on the little pencil here, pop that up, and then go ahead and make any edits to it. Generally, the edits that I see are, some associations don't like to use the exclamation points, small stuff like that. And like everything else, just give me a quick thumbs up when you're all set on that.
I have a question about this. With all of the campaigns, are they kind of built with a blueprint? All of the other campaigns that were there to choose from, and do they all scrape AI from the site?
Yeah, it's a really great question. So the majority of the campaigns you'll build in PropFuel will be from a blueprint. There are, as you get more and more advanced and you've built all of your foundational campaigns, there may be some one-offs that we just don't have a blueprint for. And that's where we definitely train you to build stuff from scratch. And some of them don't actually bring in AI content. There's just sometimes where it just doesn't make sense, like profile write back campaign. So in PropFuel, you have the ability to ask your members or your contacts for specific pieces of data, like what's your current title or what's your alternate email address. And then when they answer in PropFuel, you can have that information immediately go back to your database to fill it in their record. So that means they don't have to log into their profile and do updates. There's no need for AI there, so that wouldn't bring in any AI.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Of course.
This might be a silly question, but where does it pull the information from for AI? Does it pull it from the URL that you provide for the rejoin link, or is it pull it? Where's it actually with that?
Great question. So it's actually pulling it from your association's name. So whatever in your settings, when we onboard you, we'll figure out exactly what team name you want, like your acronym or your full name. And then it actually pulls from, like, the same way ChatGPT has all of this information that's been scrubbed from the internet since I think as late as like 2020. Same thing with AI here in PropFuel. So it's just pulling everything it knows about your organization to pull in stuff. And we've gone into the blueprints and we've said, for a lapsed win-back campaign, if somebody says, I'm not rejoining because I've retired, we've told ChatGPT essentially to pull in information about member resources that a retired member would care about with your organization. So it's very specific to what they're saying. All right. Yeah, all good questions. None of them are silly at all. All right. So once we've reviewed our answer and our question and our answer choices, we're going to move on to the workflows. Quick question. Did anybody change their answer choices? Anything in them? Okay, Jen. So you are probably seeing when you click save, you're probably seeing in your workflow a nice little error. All that's doing here, let me go ahead and do it on mine. I'm going to change it to like the smallest little change. I just put a period instead of an exclamation point, and I've got this little error here. That's just because at that point, now this answer choice does not technically match what's mapped here down at the bottom. So all you need to do is go back down to your selection and remap it. So essentially what this is doing is it's saying if the selection equals yes, then take these actions. So you would just click where it says the error and then remap.
Okay.
And see.
I'm in the middle of changing browsers because I'm still getting every once in a while I click and it doesn't do anything.
Weird. What browser are you using?
I was using Chrome.
Huh, that's interesting. Okay, I'll have Cameron take a look at it because I have not run into that.
But yeah, I know it's so weird. I was just like, why is it? I don't know. Bad technology day for me, I guess.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't change the answers, but I changed the questions slightly. That doesn't impact anything though, right?
No, you're all set. So once you remap anything that you've changed, now comes the real editing work. So what you'll want to do is for each of the workflows, and you know there's 3 workflows here because each workflow has this nice big arrow. For each one of them, you're going to want to click on the different actions. So show text on landing page, go ahead and click on that, read through it, make any edits that you need to, because this is what the contacts are going to see when they say yes.
Is it possible to merge any member data into this, like their name or?
Yeah, it is. So generally when you become a client with PropFuel, you'll have a connector, to your database most of the time. And then we'll map different pieces of information. If you'd like, you can also add in member data. You would just need to make sure you include that in your CSV file when you upload your contacts, since we don't have a connector with your database. The way to do that is, let's say we want to say, that's wonderful news, Mrs. Witcher, since you've got teachers. You could do that, and you would click on the little driver's license up here. And here are all the pieces of data that currently you can pull in. I have access to first name, but you probably don't because it's not an out of the box field, but you do have, I don't know that last name is in there.
Contact name is in here.
Yeah, so that's going to pull in first and last name. I don't want to get too advanced, but if it's something that would be really valuable to have, you can add additional fields. You would go to settings on the left and then advanced and fields. And this is everything you get out of the box, I think, down to expiration date, but you can create an additional one.
Awesome.
Last name, first name, whichever. And then now it'll be available in your campaign.
Perfect. Thank you.
Of course. Just keep in mind when you, like I said, when you upload your CSV file, you'll want to make sure you include that. back in your field, if you're a little hesitant about it, like maybe you don't know that everyone has a first name or a last name, you could, for the first name, it would make sense if you wanted to put a personalization default value. That just means if somebody has that field blank, it'll pull in something else. So I have friend, so hello friend. So you could put something in there. If you choose to add a field like that, I would say definitely reach out to Lisa on our team. She'll be sending you an email follow-up after this. Reach out to her when you're ready to upload your contacts, and she can double check and make sure everything looks good. And then once you've finished with the show text on landing page, go ahead and move down to the send email action, and you can start editing that. Thanks, Gina. Thanks, Jen. And if you're as quick as Jen is, feel free to move down to the possibly section as well. One thing that you are probably going to see in that one that isn't really self-explanatory is this adding tags to contacts. So you can always, in your campaigns, you can go to your history tab after you've sent something out, and you can see who answered and in what way. But there are times where it kind of just makes sense to be proactive and add a tag to contacts so that as soon as they answer in a certain way, it tags them. And you could later come in and say, all right, just give me a list of everyone tagged in that way. And then you could export it and do something with it. You could, as a PropFuel client, you could follow up with them in PropFuel and say, hey, you told us you wanted to rejoin, but or that you possibly wanted to rejoin, but we noticed you hadn't. What's holding you back, or how can we help? Or you can pick up the phone and call them. So that's what that is there.
I think I jumped the gun, but I'm good.
No, you're doing great. Yeah, it's just like some people are like, yeah, this looks great. And then others are like, oh no, this tone doesn't work at all for our association. So and then just let me know when you've all gotten through the possibly workflow, and then we'll do the not at this time together.
Okay, I'm good then.
Oh, perfect. Josh. Awesome. All right. And Jen, I think you're done with possibly. All right. So the not at this time, this one's a little different. So you're going to see a little pop-out arrow all the way at the end of that redirect to another question right here. Go ahead and click that. And that's actually going to take you to the to the branch question, because we really only want to ask the no's why it's not a good fit for them at this time. So we've kind of made a second campaign that they get right away. So there's not another email that's attached to it. It's just kind of like a web page that they go right to answer. So the same thing here that you did in the last campaign. You're gonna you're gonna click the pencil, look at the question, and look at all of the answer choices and make sure those make sense for you. So this is where you're gonna probably do a little bit more editing than you did before. I would try to keep it to 6 or 7 answer choices max. It has 6 right now. Any more than that, and people say they see all the words and like, I'm gonna do it later. And I would also try to keep it to no more words per individual answer than you see here if you can. And then of course, like all of the others, once you save it, if you changed anything, you will get a little arrow here, but you know what to do. As you make your way down these workflows, you also may see this workflow here. It says if the text response is filled, then send an alert. That looks totally different than any of the others do. It's not a selection. What that is because we've back in your question, we've added what's called a follow-up question. That's an open-ended text box that goes to anyone regardless of how they answer and asks for tell us more. So it's great because somebody can say, well, I wasn't seeing value. And then they can say, you know, like whatever it is that they would say if they were on the phone with you, or they can leave it blank. But when somebody writes something in there, you probably want to know right away so that you can make it a more human approach. You can get an alert sent to somebody on your team, and that alert will have the person's name, their email address, the question, and how the person answered it. So then all you need to do is review it, or whoever is getting it on your team needs to review it and figure out if they need to do something more. Like maybe that's a phone call that you need to make, or an email that you need to send to that contact. So let me know when you're all set with these. I know this will take a little bit longer.
So for this one, we should click on every single thing that's hyperlinked, or just
Yeah, so I would click on, if you didn't change the answer choices, then you need to only click on the actions. So where it says then and, click
okay.
on those and just make your edits in there.
Okay.
Out of curiosity, are you finding that the answer choices are pretty spot on for your organization?
Yeah, I mean, maybe if they weren't attending a conference, sometimes they didn't renew their membership for that. That's
Yeah.
another reason.
Yeah, that's actually a really good one. And like I said, you could go up to 7 answer choices, I think, without it being too much. So you can add an option if you'd like.
Yeah, I was also thinking about the whole thing that having like I didn't know it lapsed or something as well, because
Yeah.
maybe they didn't know it lapsed or. But yeah, I think that those are pretty much the standard responses.
Yeah.
Another one is not working. Like if somebody is not working currently, they don't.
Yeah. Yeah, and one thing I like to do when I'm deciding my answer choices, of course, is think if they choose this, do I have a solution for them? Is there something I want to point them to? And then that generally helps me decide if it's getting to be too many.
Okay.
So I just added, I won't be attending the conference because I did want to show you, if you add that, then again, you're going to get this little error. And the reason is because, well, one, I changed this. But two, because you won't have a workflow for this. I won't be attending the conference. So if you add that, you'll need to create a new workflow from scratch. So you would click create new workflow, and then all the way down at the bottom, you would have to add a trigger and add an action. So you're essentially you're just creating it, but from scratch, like I said.
It's strange. I just added some things underneath there, but I don't see the workflow. It doesn't show up in the workflow.
Do you mind sharing your screen?
Try. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. So right now you can see here I won't be attending the conference and I'm not currently employed, or maybe can you see it?
Yeah, I can see it now.
These are the 2 new ones I added, but then when I go down here and you see there's no error here either. And it doesn't show up down here either.
If you scroll all the way back up to the top, do you see that create new workflow button? Go ahead and click that. And then now scroll all the way down and you'll have an empty workflow in there that you can add a trigger and an action.
Oh, I just assumed that I would automatically put it here and then, okay. So that's the case for all of them. You have to go ahead and, okay.
Yeah, and the reason for that is as you start to get a little bit more advanced in your campaigns, you'll notice that there are times where you want to double up the action for certain answers, like maybe 2 answers go to one action and a third answer goes to another one. So we want you to have more control. And what you'll do, Jason, is you're going to drop down that first box where it says text response and set that down to selection.
Okay.
And then selection equals, and you'll drop down the third to that new one that you created.
Don't be attending, okay. And then I just get 1, 2.
So these are an and filter. So you're going to want to create a new workflow for each one. So delete that second one and then save it. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And then add
another one.
And it's down there. You just have to scroll down. Josh and Jen, one other thing for you all to do as you finish editing each of these workflows, go ahead and toggle them on. It's that little toggle button right next to the trash can. Make sure each one is toggled on. That just means when we go to test it, it'll actually work. And then Jason, make sure that you add your actions there as well.
Okay.
For each of those. So for example, if I added my trigger,
I think it was then show text on landing page.
Exactly. Yep.
I'm just gonna say test for it right now.
And don't forget, you have that little wand there that you can click and it'll generate something for you since that's not part of the blueprint. Have AI generate something and then you can always edit it.
Okay, that makes sense.
It gives you some good ideas. And then Jason, I don't know if you heard, as you're finishing those workflows, just toggle them on.
Okay.
And I'll just give you guys some more time. I'll stop talking. Let me know when you're ready to move on to the next part.
We also have to add the send email thing as well, or
Yeah, and that depends on, so it's totally up to you. It's a strategy decision. I think with maybe with the conference, if you're giving them like conference dates and lots of information, I would do a send email. But if it's just a quick, like for the people who say I've left the field, I wouldn't send an email to them. But yeah,
I think, yeah, makes sense. I was thinking for the one I'm not employed currently, we can link them to the Career Center or something like that.
Yeah. That's a great one. Hey, Robson.
Hi. How goes things?
Great. We're just editing. I told them I'm going to stop talking and give you time.
Well, I guess kind of like a one of those YouTube tutorials. You gotta pause, you gotta try it out. Alrighty. Well, I just wanted to pop in, say hi. I'm gonna go check in on the others,
Sounds good. Thanks.
but I'll be here.
You guys are waiting on me, I'm good.
Jen and Josh. Okay, great. All right. Perfect. All right, so let's go back to your main campaign. We're going to click on campaigns all the way on the left. And I believe you all should see 2 campaigns in your account, if I'm not mistaken. You know which one is the primary campaign because it's that email channel. So you're going to click on that one. And you can just click on the name of the campaign and it'll take you there. And then we're going to do the third part of the check-in. So we've done our question, our workflows, and then the third part is we're going to click on this little gear on the top right corner of that check-in box. And then templates. And we're going to click edit next to the email template. And so like I said, this is that email template that goes into their inbox. This here is not actually editable where I'm hovering here because that's where your question and your answer choices will all display as buttons. So don't worry about editing that, but everything else needs to be edited or at least reviewed. So if you just hover, as you see, I'm hovering over different parts of the template. Be really careful where you click though. Like if you hover over the outside and you try to click, it's not going to let you edit. Make sure you hover over the text and then click, and then you can edit it.
Are we supposed to go to prop field question bank or my questions? Like that.
Okay, here, let me go back. So it's gonna be if you're on this screen here, you're gonna click
Oh,
on
I'm sorry, I clicked on add check-in versus the
oh, no worries.
Okay.
No worries. Just cancel out of there and then click on the little gear.
Yeah, got it. And then you said add question or
Templates.
templates, got it.
And then you should see the email template is that very first one. You'll click edit.
Okay.
So make sure you edit the intro text, and then all of the text below the question. And one thing I would say about conversational engagement is our tone in these blueprints is pretty casual. If your organization takes a more formal approach, go with that, because conversational engagement has nothing to do with the tone. It really more has to do with that ask, capture, act method. Like, you can be as formal as they're used to. It's more about the ask, capture, act. And then if you don't like the subject line that you see all the way on the right, you have that wand here again, so you can just keep generating stuff until you like something, or until it gets you like 90% of the way there, and you can edit it.
Okay.
All set? No rush. We're doing really well on time, so take your time. Cool. Thanks, Jen. If you are done with your template, go ahead and save it and close the box. And then just make sure you go back to your workflows here in this question, this little arrow, and toggle on all your workflows here as well. How's it going, Josh? I'm definitely not rushing you, just want to make sure.
Yep, I'm good.
All right, perfect. All right, so now we're ready to test it. So the way you're going to test a prop fuel check-in is you're going to go to the gear again at the upper right corner of the check-in box. Click that, and then you'll see this send test email here. And it should pop up your email address. You could, if you wanted to, send it to additional people, just separate that with a comma and then put in their email address, or you can send it to yourself. And you should get it right away.
Sorry, I think I missed that. You said click up. You said the
That
little cog thing.
Yeah, the little spoke or gear, whatever it is, and then send test email.
Maybe I'm not in the right spot. I think I am now. Yes, send test email.
And then, like I said, you should get it right away. And then this is really where you're going to figure out the mistakes you made, the things that you don't quite like in practice. So read through everything. One thing I like to do is like actually read through and make edits at the same time. And then you can click all of the buttons and test it. Make sure though, this will make it so much easier for you. Make sure that when you click not at this time, or when you click really any of the buttons, that so if I say not at this time and then I wasn't seeing value, once I submit it, I can't use my back button. It's gonna get angry if I try to do that. So go back to the initial email each time and read and do the new journey. So click again, not at this time, and click the second answer choice. And make sure you're not clicking buttons too quickly. It just sometimes it's not what the system's built for. So you would do yes, take the journey, then do possibly take the journey.
Okay.
And definitely ask questions if you see anything that doesn't look right. This is where you find all the mistakes.
So when I click on not at this time, I'm getting a 500 server error.
Okay, let's see what's going on. I'm gonna go to your account if I can find it. Josh, do you know what your account is called by any chance?
Florida Music Education
There we
Association.
go. They used the full. Okay. Perfect. Yeah, everything looks good. I'm gonna send myself a test and see if I get the same thing. Yep. Okay, let's try one thing. Oh, yeah, no, that's right. Is anyone else getting the same thing?
No.
Okay, it should be working now. Josh, I'll send that to our developer just to make sure that it gets fixed. But sometimes with the blueprints, if you you have to open it and then just save the template again for it to actually connect the template. So that's what was happening there.
Okay, cool.
Any other questions, things that you're seeing that don't quite make sense as you're going through it?
Not so much that it doesn't make sense, but like I got the initial email and I clicked yes. I was going to, and then I got another email that says I know he said that, there's an email that gets triggered after they choose something, but if the initial message already has the information, I just don't want to hit them a second time unless is that something that other people usually leave out or do you
Yeah,
find value? Because I know it's like an extra touch point, basically.
yeah, really good question. So it's a nice to have. So there's not a way to delay it at all or say like, okay, if they renewed, then don't send it to them. And that's why we've worded it in a way where it makes sense regardless of what action they took. It's more of a, hey, we just want to make sure you have this in as many places as possible. So here it is again. I hear you about not wanting to make it like clutter their inbox with additional touch points. I think with this one, it's okay though, because these are such an individualized journey. Like they've said, yeah, I definitely want to rejoin.
Yeah.
And so you're saying you're kind of acting as a concierge for them of, all right, here's how to do it. And oh, if you still need to do it, it's in your inbox. And some people will even put in the landing page, like we're dropping this in your inbox as well, so that they know to expect
Okay.
it.
Yeah, that's a good point about adding it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we're doing really well on time. So just let me know when you've reviewed everything. I'm sure you'll have some edits. And then from there, I want to show you how you will go live with your campaign, enrolling your contacts, setting the date and everything. I know we're not going live today, but it's just a nice thing for you to be able to see so that you can do it when you're ready.
Sorry, waiting for anything.
Nope, just waiting for a thumbs up that everyone's good on edits. Are you all set, Jason?
Yeah, I'm doing anything. So
Awesome. And Josh, how are you doing?
I'm good. Yep.
Perfect. All right. I know it's like a lot of repetition. So when you're ready to go live with your campaign, or even when you're just ready to set it up to go live, in a couple of weeks, there's a few things that you need to do. So you're going to see that calendar date just at the top of your check-in, and there's a little calendar icon. Go ahead and change that date to a date that you think you'd like it to send out, even if it's a couple of weeks from now or next week, and then click confirm. And then we're going to move over to the settings tab. So not the settings on the left, but the settings up at the top. And we're going to scroll about 3/4 of the way down. You're going to see a little box that says send times and reminders. So send window, generally the emails are going to go out at the top of that window. So I have this 5 to 8 a.m. window. It'll generally go out at 5 a.m. If that's too early, go ahead and click that and you can choose a different time. And then just make sure you save that by clicking the little green check mark. And you should have reminders turned off in your account. So just to give you an idea, reminders are a second email. It's really the same exact check-in, but it goes out a second time to anyone who didn't answer the first time. We went ahead and toggled those off for your accounts, or at least they should be toggled off, knowing that we're not connected to your database. We don't want the reminder to go out to people who the first time actually like saw it, didn't answer, but they went ahead and rejoined. So if you're comfortable with it, go ahead and keep them off. Otherwise, if you did turn them on, you would just need to make sure you remove people in between the first check-in and the reminder. So it's, it might be a good idea to just keep them off for this one, but knowing that when you're a client, you can definitely have those on. Any questions on those send times or reminders? I know sometimes questions come up with those.
Sorry, when you went to find that, you clicked on change date, or did you for the time?
Are you
Under settings? Sorry.
Yeah, up in settings at the top.
I see. I got it. So sending window, I see that now.
Yeah.
Send reminders, turn that off.
And that's it there. The very last thing you need to do is go live with your campaign. So of course you would need to enroll your contacts before you go live. I'll show you how you're going to do that in just a second. But when you go live with your campaign, what you're going to do is you're going to click from draft to go live up here at the top. But it's going to give you a little error if you try to do that, because it's going to actually make you go live with your branch question campaign before your primary one. So if you remember, I said you have 2 campaigns in your account. It's going to make you go live with your what's called an embed question before you go live with the main one, because we just want to make sure that you're being intentional, you've reviewed everything. So you would click on this one here and then go live with that one, and then go into your main campaign and go live with that one. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. All right. Enrolling contacts. My favorite part. All right. So in Propfield, there are a couple of ways you can enroll contacts. Of course, we right now only have access to one of them because we're not connected to your database. Keep in mind, like I said, as a client, you would most likely be connected to your database so that we can automate all of your campaigns to pull people in at a certain time, pull them out at a certain time. It's really nice because it's like a set it and forget it for you. It's not manual uploads. Unfortunately, today we have to do a manual upload, but it's not too difficult. So what you're going to do is click on enrolled contacts at the top and go ahead and follow along and do it. You just won't upload the contacts, but you can build that muscle memory. So enrolled contacts and then upload contacts. And then you can select your file. Jason, did you see that? Okay.
Yeah.
Just making sure.
Just not going to upload a real file here, I don't think.
Exactly. I have a sample one that's just me, so I'm going to pull that in. When you go to upload your contacts, it does need to be a CSV file format, and it does have to have a header row because that's how we know what your fields are. And then you must have your email addresses in there, and then any additional stuff that you want in there. So if you did pull in a first name token, make sure you put first name in there, last name, whatever it is. So I'm going to choose my file. On the left are all of the fields that are in my file. And then on the right is what I'm telling Propfield to import them as. So you would literally just, it's like a drop down for each one and you would match them up. So contact email is email, first name, and so on. Now, also, if you have some fields in your CSV file that you decide you just don't need to map, just leave it blank and it'll ignore them. One really, really important thing. So if you forget everything I've told you today, remember this one thing. And it's why, Josh, especially you, if you decide to pull in the name token, I want you to make sure you reach out to Lisa on our team. Like I said, we're going to give you her contact information, but I want you to reach out to her so we can make sure that that name token pulls in correctly, because you're going to see that you have a system fields section here that does have first name in it. If you map there, it's not going to pull in personalization into your campaign from your CSV file. So you have to make sure you map it under the custom fields, because that's the fields that you made today. So the way to remember that is everything can be mapped under system fields except for the first name. Any questions on that? Other than why do we give you first name under system fields? Because I don't know. So yeah, that's it. And then you would just review your import. And on this page here, you can add contacts to a campaign using a CSV file, or you could remove them. Of course, we want to add them, and that's the default. So we would just leave it as that and then import them. And then you can immediately click back to your campaign and you'll see your enrolled contacts in here. When you're enrolling contacts, I would say, especially if you have a really large list, make sure that you enroll them a couple of hours ahead of time. I mean, I have some clients who have 500,000 people going into campaigns, and I tell them, give it a couple hours. Make sure that everyone is in your enrolled contacts list before you go live. You wouldn't believe how many times I have mistakenly done the opposite. So what questions do you have for me? Or even, observations, thoughts? None?
When it comes to connecting the database, is there like an API documentation section or anything?
There is, and actually you should have access to it in your account. So if you go to settings and then advanced and connectors, you'll see a list of all of the connectors we have. So this includes everything from your databases, like the main ones that we see associations have, to email marketing systems. You can have multiple connectors in there. And it really depends on the connector, whether it's an API or how the connector is built, but you'll see a little question mark next to each of them that you can click and it'll pop you out to documentation about it. Out of curiosity, Josh, what's your database?
It's a custom built
Okay.
solution.
In that case, we would probably, so our development team is great. One of our co-founders is our chief developer. And so we would connect you with him to find out ahead of time, like what it would take, if it's possible, timeline, all of that. But a lot of the ones you see here didn't exist until he built them. So they were all custom connectors at one time.
So I do see Higher Logic on here. Are you also able to pull like community related stuff into this as well, or is it?
Yeah, let me just make sure. That's a good question. I don't believe so, because I think this is just let's see, we've got informs, and then I don't think this is community related. I'll find that out for you, and I'll get back in touch with you. I'm gonna make a little note of this.
Sure.
All right. Well, if there's no other questions, I'm always happy to give you time back. So the next steps are going to be, go ahead and send the campaign test to whoever you'd like on your team, review it yourself. I would say definitely go ahead and upload contacts and send it out. I think you're going to be really pleasantly surprised with the results you get. And then I believe Lisa on our team, like I said, will be reaching out to you just to make sure you have everything you need. And if you become a client, I look forward to working with you.
So is there a certain time period that we don't have access to this anymore, or?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I believe it's 30 days from this this workshop. So even if you wanted to go in and play around with it and you built an entire campaign on your own, go ahead and send it out.
Okay.
Knowing, of course, you don't have the connector, but there's that. You can also, Jason, you had added a check-in, so you saw that you can do that. You can add additional check-ins to this campaign. But if you do that, I would say connect with us and we can just make sure that you get everyone removed between check-ins. We would hate for you to send it out to people who've already renewed and then it's a mess for you. So
No, I'm not gonna actually probably send anything. But I just wanted to be able to play around with it a little bit. So
yeah. I would say a big part of the magic of the prop fuel is the results that you get. So it was I think it was HubSpot that sent out a benchmarking report this year or late last year, and they showed that they get about a 1 to 3% response rate across the board with their clients. We just put out our benchmarking report, and I'm seeing anecdotally across the board with my clients. I would have to pull up the report to tell you the exact number, but I see double digits across the board. So we're talking like renewal campaigns, 36%, 40% response rate. So not open rates, but actual people who clicked a button and told you something. So if you can send it out, I encourage you to do it, but let us know how we can help.
We could just convince my marketing team to do it instead of me because I can't make the decision on that.
Yeah, I totally understand. And
I talked to Dave about that too, actually.
What was that?
I talked to Dave about that because me
Okay.
and him know each other through an association call I join in the morning sometimes.
Okay, yeah, good. I was just gonna say, let us help you with that if you need anything. So I'm glad you talked to Dave.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for doing this.
Of course, of course. It was so good to have you here. Jen and Josh, anything else I can answer for you all, or?
No, I think I'm good. Thank you.
Oh, this has been great. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for giving me almost 2 hours of your time.
Awesome. Thank you.
Well, have a good one.
You too.
Take care.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.